My name's Joe. I built this van in spring of 2017 because I wanted to have a complete home to take into the Alps to go cycling in. I always wanted to live in a boat, so that's why a lot of the interior is inspired by the inside of a wooden boat, but also a lot of van life blogs that I'd seen as well. It seemed to me like a very large van, but at the same time I was trying to get as much out of the space as possible, so I started thinking about how I could get things like just little shelves like that above the driving cab, these top shelves around here with the rails, which is very much like something you'd get out of a boat. The kitchen area, I started off with the standard sink and hob. I also went for having a gas oven as well, and under here is the gas heater. I put in a Propex HS2000, which are pretty common for, well, boats and vans. The hot air comes either here with a little vent that you can have going either around, sort of convecting around, or straight up into the main living area. But there's also a splitter here which you can goes into the shower room, and you can shut off either one. So if you just want the air going into the shower, you can have whether you're having a shower or using it as a drying room, you can just leave it going there and you can shut this off, or vice versa. The kitchen area has a fridge. At the moment it opens out this way because it's just been replaced, but the door can be interchangeable on either sides. I had it elevated slightly because sometimes I'm quite a light sleeper and you can hear the compressor going, so I thought if I just elevated it and put it on rubber strips, then it wouldn't vibrate around. There are lots of drawer storage space. This one is a little bit quirky because it has to fit underneath the basin, but even then I cut out every piece so that you could make the most of every single bit of the drawer. And some really deep drawers here as well, which again go right out to the full width of the van. So in order to balance out the sort of symmetry of this van, I put in a wardrobe here. It's got a hanging rail, so you can actually hang clothes in there as well, but it makes just really nice storage space. It's also got fire extinguisher and fire blanket. Having a mirror is sort of important, although you don't always want to see what you look like when you're living in a van. And then behind that, you've actually got the shower and loo. That was all part of my being completely self-sufficient. I wanted to be able to have the shower loo. I put the skylights in. I realised when I first stood in this van, long before I'd even put side windows in, that it is actually very dark, and even though you think the sliding door will let a lot of light in, it's amazing how much light you just get from actually the light coming from the sky. And also ventilation wise, I thought it was very important. When you're in a van and it's raining outside, you don't want the sliding door open, and the side windows can kind of let in rain as well. So you can always have ventilation, whatever the weather, with a skylight. So in the sort of shower wet room, I've got a skylight. You just do this to actually open it up. And then it's even got a fan that you can either have air being pumped into it or the air being sucked out. So, just depending on which way you pull the switch. So again, really good for getting just a flow of air through the van itself. So I wanted this van to be as self-sufficient as possible. I didn't want to have to stop anywhere for electricity if I could help it. So I actually went for having 2 large solar panels on the roof and 2 large leisure batteries, so that although there is obviously an electric hookup to mains, if I just wanted to be completely off-grid, I didn't have to worry about stopping off to actually charge up the batteries. So I put solar panels on the roof, come through to this regulator here. From the regulator, the electricity comes into my 12-volt system here. So I have 2 110 amp hour leisure batteries, which more than amply supply all of the electrics in this van. If you are in a place where you can actually plug into the mains, I've got the 240 volt system here. So this is the main control panel for the electrics. You can isolate certain parts from this panel. So these buttons here show you how much power that you've actually got. This button here shows you how much water you have in the 70-litre tank that is underneath the bed, which is incredibly handy because you don't want to have to go under there and unscrew the top of that every time you want to see how much water you have. Here we've got the control panel for the Truma water heater. So you can either, if you're plugged into the mains, you can use the electrics, and if you're not connected to the mains, you can use the gas instead. Works exactly the same. Okay, so this is obviously the sitting room stroke bed. The bed is a pretty standard design in that it does pull out to become a double bed if you want it. So the main feature is pretty standard and simple, and that is just that you've got this slotting system here, which you see different variations of in a lot of vans. With mine, I chose to make it in such a way that you could lift it up easily to access all of the plumbing underneath it, but at the same time it's got these little dowels here. That's what means you're able to pull up the whole thing, but as soon as you pull this out, it then becomes loose, and that just comes all the way out to there. You can then rearrange the cushions and you have got something approaching a double bed. So I started off making yurts, and as a result I started to dabble with a sewing machine, and I made all the canvas for the yurts I made. So I thought I made all the upholstery for this van as well, all with one small leather making sewing machine. So what I did with this, again quite a kind of marine style, is that I didn't want curtains and curtain rails. I wanted something that if I had to, I could take completely off really easily and put back on really easily as well. So I've got this waterproof canvas, so that if you do get any condensation in the winter, it's kind of mildew and water resistant. It works as a quite good blackout as well. And these simply just pop down at night all the way around each one. There's one for every single part of the van, including the skylight as well. And then when you don't want them during the day, they just roll back up and you can just pop them back up there again. In this I've used probably 3 main woods. I've used pine, just standard tongue and groove pine for all of the carcassing there, and I've used ash for all of the main joinery. I've also used birch ply for any surfaces or anywhere where you just need a slightly more substantial and flat sheet material. I used ash because it gets used not just in the marine industry, but also back in the old days of the Morris Traveller. They used to make a lot of car parts out of wood when they were still doing that, and it's actually for something that naturally does shift with the climate. It's actually incredibly strong and resilient. So this is the garage. Everything is covered in either this sort of plastic sheeting or here, which is actually a PVC vinyl. So if you can put anything in there and it can drip down and it's not going to affect the van. Everything has been sealed up. All of this aluminium has been sealed around the edges so that any water is just going to sort of trickle straight out. You can hang wetsuits from the rail at the top, and you can also hang whatever you like from this part too. So you can, again, because it's all waterproof, you can just have whatever you like hanging off the back, and it can just gradually kind of pour out of the van as you're going. This is the only part of the back of the van that goes through to the main area. These shelves all have custom made bags in them which zip from both ends. So if you're in the wardrobe at the front of the van, you can access these bags, or if you're in the back of the van, you can pull them out here and access them too.